So one thing that I've been seeing a very common trend when we were meeting at like the cupping stations and then talking with producers is this idea of time, and time always being one of the biggest issues for them, because you have all these hands along the process that prevent from a decision being made, and they need money now. And this is obviously something that I feel like isn't discussed enough or understood enough from downstream roasting side and buying side. I'm sure several buyers do know that, but I kind of want to hear you just kind of quickly discuss, why is time of the essence? Why is it a major factor in ensuring that specialty coffee remains sustainable? And maybe even if you have an idea on how to improve it.
Sure, lots. So like we're talking a lot in this about like the economic and social sustainability of coffee growing for farmers, and it's almost always about cost of production, like how much do I have to pay to get this coffee to exist. But I think time is almost as like just as important as this, because like small farmers usually run on pretty tight cash flow timelines. So like they're paying a lot to have picking done. They're investing a lot in fertilizing and having the harvest be able to come out. But then when they're picking, and then the whole thing takes a long time. So a lot of people are they'll just pick, depulp, and then sell wet coffee. But that's inevitably going into the commodity market. It's probably going to be damaged while it's like wet, just like in bags in transit. And then it'll get dried, probably in not the optimal way, and get mixed with a bunch of other stuff. But that's because, and it's not like because people are lazy, but because I mean you need cash to be able to pay the pickers for the next week of picking, or else your coffee doesn't get picked and then it all just rots. And when it's like raining a lot or something, the coffee doesn't dry in the time you want it to, and the only way to keep the wheels turning is by selling wet, when it's a shame. But then, so we're trying every time to dry a little bit more, but it's only worth drying if you know you're going to get a better price than like the commodity market, because for that, you could have just sold wet 3 weeks, 4 weeks earlier. So what they're telling us now, that it's been raining so much that the drying times are a lot longer, so it takes a lot more effort, and it's more less coffee that they're able to dry. Just because of that cash flow reason, when picking is more expensive. But then that's only the first step of a really long process. You know, after that, this is going to the association purchase point, and maybe they're going to be able to get paid something to keep paying pickers, to see what happens with the coffee further along in the chain. But sometimes not. And now that coffee is more expensive, picking is more expensive, everybody has their limited amount of cash flow, and it's not going as far as it used to. And at the same time, because the costs are higher, the price is more, the exporters and these other folks along the chain have to take more risk to do the same thing. So, I mean, it used to be, there were like specialty exporters, and you could bring your coffee down and they'll cup and they'll give you a price based on the cup quality, and great. But now, if you want like a good price, it's more than like 20-30% above the commodity price. They're doing a lot less of this unless they know that they're going to be able to sell it to somebody else. So like bringing it down, and they'll give you a great price, put it in a warehouse, and then like see what happens. That's getting more and more tough. So like now they're going to say, okay, leave the sample. I'm going to send it to my clients, who's are importers, and they're going to say, okay, give me a sample. I'm going to send it to my clients, the roasters, and see what sticks. But then this is going to take like another 3-4 weeks for all these samples to move, for everybody to get feedback back. And then maybe we've waited like 4 weeks for drying, and then another 4 weeks to see what happens with samples. And then maybe, I don't know. Sorry.
They won't even buy it. Yeah.
Nobody wants it. Yeah. But then like, are you kidding me? We've just waited 2 months without getting paid, and now you're going to tell us we're going to get paid the same thing. And it's more, because maybe the commodity price has fallen during those 2 months. And like, I could have sold 2 months ago, done way less work, and made more. So it's tough. And this is why we've been telling, like, we're kind of thinking of how this can change and have more coordination from farmers to roasters, not like necessarily like talking on the phone, although it could be, but like figuring out this is the coffee I'm going to make. This is what the profile is like, basically. Talking to roasters and say, okay, this is the coffee I'm going to need. This is the amount that I can take. Like months ahead of time to avoid that whole thing. So that like as soon as the farmers make this coffee, they know that they're going to have this price for this volume, as long as the profile is like basically in the same parameters. And then there can be just like one, cupping, and then it's just simply approving samples. And then the only reason that it wouldn't work out is if the sample like had a problem or something, rather than it being good, and then maybe even still a good chance that just nothing's going to happen to it, which is a really different way to work. But it seems like it should be pretty simple. It's just simply like doing the same thing in a different sequence, and requires more planning on both sides. So like, yeah, I can't just, maybe roasters won't be able to just call up their importer and like, okay, what's like in the fad right now? Like, do you have any anaerobics, or like, let me just cup everything and pick what's the absolute highest score. Maybe not, because like if you say, all right, this farm we're on right now, this coffee is really good, I like it this year, next year we're gonna assume it's gonna be about the same. But that's not to say that the farm right there isn't gonna be like a half point better or something. So like, if what a roaster wants is that extra half point, then no. Like planning ahead and giving that commitment may not work for them, but I mean,
but unfortunately
hopefully that doesn't have to be the case.
And that's not, it doesn't seem like that's a very sustainable way for the industry to move forward though.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think this is just about understanding that there are human beings who have to deal with the effect of this capriciousness. Is that a word in English?
Yeah.
Like, okay, maybe on the roaster side you have to sacrifice the potential to possibly have an extra half point or something with some other lot that might exist at some point in the future. But the amount of risk and potential loss and stress that's going to alleviate for producers could be really immense for a very low cost for roasters.
Get mad. Get Mad Priest Coffee.